Alright, let's address the elephant in the room. Charlie Morningstar. We all know who she is. Daughter of Lucifer and the Princess of Hell. From the start, she had a rather difficult time trying to find an answer to ending the exterminations, dealing with Adam and the various roadblocks that kept popping up. But today, we're not talking about her character or the mistakes that keep coming up as well, after all. While she is flawed, you really shouldn't be making the same mistake time and time again after getting embarrassed 3 times by a singular word. No, instead we're talking about what is Charlie Morningstar, the type of being that she is, and the possible potential that lies just beneath the surface. After all, you don't get a line like this.
She's bound to pass the test as Princess of Hell. Like her daddy, she is badly powerful. She's filled with potential that I could guide. I concur.
Without having something to back it up. First, we need to look into Charlie's parentage, because there's a bit of confusion about what precisely is going on here. To begin with, Lucifer, who is an angel, apparently a seraphim in this universal context, making him part of the highest choir. I would like to stress that being in a higher choir is not an indication of how powerful an angel is, merely their responsibilities and proximity to God. This has to be said because Lucifer has not and has never been second only to God. That is a fallacy that needs to be crushed, seriously. The second part is that of Lilith, and this is where the confusion comes in. So we know that she's the first woman, but then cast down to hell with Lucifer after hell was created due to their actions. So straightforwardly, she would be a sinner, right? But I don't think so because, well, they had Charlie. Now some say 200 years ago, some say 20 years ago. Either way, they had a kid, which is a bit of a wrinkle since sinners are sterile. Another issue is that she is actively able to leave hell to go to heaven, as we've seen multiple times. This suggests that she really is not a sinner, but instead the first demon, which fits lore-wise about her, well, other than the whole eating children part, which, like, what is she supposed to be? The witch in the gingerbread house or something? I mean, come on. Regardless, maybe she's a special type of sinner since she never actually died, and when you think of it, didn't actually commit a sin, to be fair. And because she never ate the apple, the curse of death never fell upon her. This would make Lilith naturally immortal, or at least that is what can be speculated with the idea humanity was supposed to be immortal had they not eaten the apple. I call it delusional, to be fair. But it could explain everything, since we don't actually know what her specific punishment was outside of being in hell. If she actually had a specific punishment to begin with, that's always a possibility. Now, with the idea of the parents out of the way, there are 2 choices when it comes to what the heck Charlie is. If we go with the idea that Lilith never died and was never a true sinner and was still a human, then Charlie would be a Nephilim. Granted, a Nephilim of immense power due to Lucifer's angelic heritage and Lilith being created by the hands of the angels in the Hellaverse, making her a pure soul filled with divine energy. That's double stacking Charlie, going from Nephilim to probably even Arch Nephilim, courtesy of Jack in terms of power, which is a lot to say the least. But unfortunately, the rabbit hole goes even deeper because there's another route this could possibly go in, and it is far, far worse. If we accept the fact that Lilith is, again, not a sinner, but is a demon, then we have an interesting situation. This would make Charlie even more dangerous than an Arch Nephilim, primarily because she would be a Nephalem. Yes, that sounds familiar, but what precisely is a Nephalem? Well, think of Diablo. The precursors to humanity, the combination of angels and demons with a power greater than both, exponentially magnified by the presence of both light and darkness within them, good and evil within them. Now, this is an issue primarily because no matter what, angels and demons are not stronger than gods. It doesn't matter if you go with a monotheistic take or not. I've seen both sides fighting against minor gods. It never ends well. Even so-called demon gods, it doesn't end well for them when they go up against actual gods. A Nephilim is unfortunately the closest thing to a god that angelic and demonic entities can get to without crossing the final threshold. Seriously, Lucifer in the Bible thought he could sit upon the stars above God's throne, but even with the collective power of uncounted angels glowing through him, he was still nowhere near powerful enough to approach a god. That's the crazy part! Now, normally, Nephilim just couldn't exist to begin with, because if you go by biblical sources or references closely linked to them, you run into a similar issue. The fact that angels and demons are the same species. Yes, one is holy and full with light, the other is dark and corrupted, but there are key differences. Demons are weaker than angels. Lucifer, when he fell, did not become stronger, an idea from Paradise Lost which makes no functional sense, because I'm not gonna get into that because I swear Paradise Lost needs to be burned. So this would only work if they are 2 functionally different species. Their energies mix and they combine into a child, you get a Nephalem. Again, we've heard from Alistair and Rosie that Charlie has immense power, but we've never actually seen that. Not even an inkling, except for the singular point where she blocked Adam's hand to protect her father from the attack. The issue is that if she is a Nephilim or a Nephalem, the results would likely remain the same. There wouldn't be a functional difference in how the fight would go, likely because Charlie's never been pushed to develop her true power. Now, given how Hazbin Hotel works, I won't be surprised if Charlie's true power manifests in a similar way to Lilith's. Lilith empowered sinners with her singing, raising their spirits either because she wanted them to fight against heaven or for some other reason like peaceful protest, which, let's be fair, doesn't make much sense either. Charlie could similarly empower sinners with her presence. That could be the immense power that Alistair and Rosie were talking about, the power of a leader, someone who is ready to show the way even if she hasn't learned how to walk it yet. Granted, given the ending of the second year of Hazbin Hotel, I'm starting to actually doubt that whole leader aspect because, yeah, she ain't ready for it. It just isn't. For everything we've seen, Charlie is naive, foolish, and sometimes makes you just want to toss her into a star due to sheer stupidity. She is an earnest and honest soul, just like her father, wanting the best for the sinners. While she does not yet have the respect of hell, she can earn it as she works to reform sinners and providing them with a new path. Now, to be fair, this is all speculation, but it's worth looking into. When we think about how she could develop, who knows how Charlie might change? I mean, there are already alternative universes where she goes full Nephilim mode, basically kicks Rue's butt, takes on heaven and nearly dies at the hands of Michael, and while the main events will likely never go in that direction, it's an interesting possibility. Let me know what you think. See you next time, and have a good day.